Hello, welcome. My name is Carrie, and I am so pleased that you have landed on this class. Today, we will take you through a very slow flow in order to get the energy flowing through your body and to work out any tight spots you might have. So, grab your mat, get into something comfortable, and we'll begin. Sitting comfortably on your mat, getting your spine nice and long. Maybe take your shoulders up to your ears, breathing in, and then letting them roll down your back as you exhale. And maybe just tucking in your chin so the back of your neck gets nice and long. And you can close your eyes here, taking a moment or two to check in with how your inner landscape is doing today. Maybe scanning your body from your toes to the top of your head. Checking in, noticing any areas that are needing a little extra love today. Being gentle with yourself as we go through our poses. And then bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing the quality of that breath in this moment. Let's see if you can get that breath to slow down a little bit. Noticing your shoulders relaxing a little bit more as you extend your exhale. And we'll start by dropping our chin to our chest, letting the back of your neck stretch out. And then slowly lifting your nose up towards your ceiling, stretching the front of your neck. And maybe dropping your right ear to your right shoulder. And then bringing your nose back to the ceiling, letting your left ear come towards your left shoulder. And then taking your nose down towards your chest. And we'll do a nice big circle, taking it slow and gentle and mindful. So in each movement, really paying attention to what is happening for you, what is happening with your body. And then we'll take it in the other direction, nice and slow. And coming back to center. Let's bring our fingertips out onto the mat. And then inhale, we'll reach the arms up. And exhale, letting them float back down. So coordinating your movement here with your breath. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, letting them sink back down. Once more, reaching all the way up, bringing your palms together. We'll bring the palms down to our heart center. Maybe taking a moment with your eyes closed and setting an intention for your practice this morning. And once you've set that intention, let's reach the arms back up to the ceiling and letting them float back down to the mat. Beautiful. We'll take the left hand to the right knee, letting the right hand come behind. Nice gentle twist, keeping those hips nice and firmly planted on the mat. Spine nice and long. As you breathe, see if you can get your breath all the way down into your lower belly. And then we'll slowly come around back to the front. Let's take the right hand to the left knee and let that left hand come behind. Seeing how this side feels. Noticing any resistance. Noticing any tightness or tension. And then slowly coming back around. We'll bring our fingers back to the mat. Let's reach the left arm up to the ceiling, stretching it up a little higher, and then slowly coming over to your right. Keeping that left hip nice and heavy. Imagine you're breathing into that left rib cage, expanding it, making more space for your lungs. And then we'll let the left hand float back down to the mat. And let's reach the right arm up, stretching it up a little higher, and then bringing it over to your left. Taking a few moments breathing into that space in your rib cage. And then slowly coming back to center. Beautiful. Let's come on to our hands and knees. We'll get our spine moving today. So getting your wrists underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips, fingers are nice and wide so you get a nice foundation with your hands. We'll start by exhaling and rounding that upper back up to the ceiling. And then we'll inhale, letting your stomach sink down, head and tailbone come up. So moving from a round cat as you exhale into a sway back cow as you inhale. And again, noticing any resistance, any tightness, any areas that are feeling a little crunchy for you. Seeing if you can slow down your breath, slowing down your movements. Beautiful. Coming back to center, let's take our knees a little further apart and we'll let our hips settle back down to our heels. We're going to come into child's pose. So just setting your head either on your stacked fists or stretching your arms out, letting your forehead rest on the mat. Breathing all the way up the back body. As you exhale, maybe noticing yourself sinking a little bit deeper. And then we'll come back up onto our hands and knees. We're going to bring the right leg up in between our hands. So coming into a low lunge here. Ideally having your hands on either side of that right foot. You want your ankle underneath your knee. And the left leg is back a little bit. So you're getting a nice stretch along the top of the left leg. Taking a moment with your breath. settling into this shape. Then maybe walking your fingers back will stretch out the hamstrings today, letting your nose come down towards your knee. Maybe pulling that right hip crease back towards the back of your mat. Sending your breath into any tight spots. And then we'll walk our hands forward, bending back into that front knee. Let's curl the back toe. We're going to lift that left knee off the floor, planting your left hand on the mat, and then sending your right arm up towards the ceiling. Feeling nice and strong here. And then we'll let the right hand come back down, bending that left knee back to the mat. And we'll just switch our legs. So bring the right leg back. We'll bring that left foot forward. And sinking down into your hips. Getting that left knee in your armpit area. Taking a few moments, maybe even lifting your nose up as your hips sink down. Breathing back into your belly. And then we'll walk our fingers back, straightening out that left leg, bringing your nose towards your knee. And imagine that left hip crease is pulling back towards your mat. Allowing your hamstrings to get a nice stretch here. And then we'll walk the fingers forward, bending back into the left knee. We're going to curl the back toe, lift the right knee off the mat, planting that right hand, and then reaching the left arm up towards the ceiling. Taking a few breaths here, feeling nice and strong. And then we'll set that left hand down, dropping the right knee back to the floor, and then taking your left leg back to meet the right. We're going to set ourselves up into a little version of a plank pose. So let your hips sink down. You want your wrists underneath your shoulders. Taking a moment here, see how this feels, maybe lifting your feet up off the mat. And if it feels okay, you might want to bring your feet back down and then lift your knees up, coming into a full version of our plank pose. Pulling that navel towards your spine, feeling really strong here today. And then we'll bring the knees down to the mat. Let's lower ourselves all the way to the floor. And bringing your hands underneath your forehead, we'll take a moment to breathe. Breathing all the way into that lower belly. Filling it up. And then we'll bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, coming up into our little Sphinx pose here. See how that feels for your back, letting your shoulders relax away from your ears. Maybe looking to your right and then back to center. And over to your left. And back to center. We'll lower ourselves back down, bringing your Hands under your shoulders. We'll push ourselves back, all the way back into child's pose. So hips coming back to your heels, head down to the mat. Taking a couple rounds of breath here. Beautiful. Let's come back up into our table position. We're going to curl the back toes and then bring ourselves into our downward facing dog. So pumping up one heel and then the other, stretching out those calves. Head in between your arms. See if you can lift your hips up a little higher towards the ceiling. And then maybe bringing both heels down towards the floor. Fingers are nice and wide again, having a nice base for your hands. Breathing all the way down into your belly. And then we'll take our feet and slowly and gently walk towards our hands. You can bend your knees. When you get there, if your back is tender, you can have them nicely bent, letting your head hang down. And we'll just sway from side to side, maybe even grabbing hold of each elbow. Moving from side to side, getting loose and limp. And then coming back to center, back to stillness. Uncrossing your arms, let's bend the knees nice and generous and slowly and gently bringing yourself up, keeping your chin tucked. And when you're feeling stable, you can bring those shoulders back, standing in our mountain pose, stacking everything up nice and tall. Feeling those feet nice and solid on the floor. Feeling your heart pumping all that wonderful life force through you. And then as you inhale, let's reach the arms all the way back up to the ceiling. And palms can come together. We'll slowly fold back down over the hips. Coming back into our forward fold. See if you can straighten those legs a little bit more. As you inhale, we'll come halfway up and then exhale, folding a little bit deeper. From here, let's take the right leg and send it back. We'll bring the knee down to the floor, sinking into that low lunge. And then squeezing your thighs, let's reach the arms up, looking up, breathing here. Beautiful. Let's bring the hands back down to the mat. Curling your back toe, we'll lift that knee and coming into our plank pose. So left leg goes back. If you want, you can bring both knees down to the mat. Taking a couple breaths here. And if your knees are up, we can set them down, bending your elbows, keeping them tight to your body as you lower all the way down. Hugging those elbows in and then peeling your nose up, looking up, little baby cobra. Lowering yourself back down. And then pushing yourself onto your knees, we'll curl the toes and bringing the hips back to the ceiling, coming into our downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then we'll walk the feet back up to the top of the mat. Folding back over our hips. Squeezing those thighs, let's reach the arms nice and big and wide, all the way back up. And bringing them back down to the heart. Taking a moment, feeling that beautiful heart beating. Shoulders relaxing. Feeling your weight in your feet. And then we'll inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding back down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Sending your left leg back, knee to the mat, sinking in. Let's squeeze those thighs, reach the arms up. Looking up. And then folding back down. Lifting that left knee up, we'll take the right leg back into our plank. Again, you can bring your knees down if it's too much. Taking a breath here. And you can either bring your knees all the way down and lower down onto your belly, or you can tilt forward, hugging your elbows in, lowering yourself down this way. And then we'll bring our nose back up and then curl the toes. Let's come back into our downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths here. And walking those feet back up to the top of the mat. Folding back over your hips. Squeezing those thighs and reach the arms nice and big and wide all the way back up to the ceiling and back to your heart. Feeling all that wonderful energy flowing through you and around you. And from here, let's send that right leg back. And keeping your hips facing forward, we're going to come into warrior one. So making any adjustments so that your hips are facing forward, sinking into the front knee. Feeling those feet nice and solid on the mat. Engaging your right kneecap, maybe pulling it up so that back leg is nice and straight. And then we'll inhale, reach the arms up, looking up. Relax your shoulders. Breathing in the confidence of the warrior. Exhaling any doubts of the warrior. Beautiful. Let's bring the palms together, back down to our heart, and bringing your hands onto your waist. We're going to straighten the front leg, coming into pyramid pose, so tilting forward, letting your head relax down. Beautiful. And then maybe stretching your arms out, coming into a little airplane version here. Keeping your balance. And then bending back into that front knee, we'll bring our hands back to our waist and reach the arms back up to the ceiling. Beautiful. Palms come together, back to your heart center, and then bringing that back foot forward. Lovely. Let's do the other side. I'll just turn around. We'll take the left leg back, sinking into the right knee, making sure it feels right for you. Hips are facing forward. And then reach the arms all the way up to the ceiling, looking up, shoulders relaxed. Breathing here, feeling nice and solid. nice and confident, ready to take on your day. And then bring the palms together back to your heart. And we'll take those hands to our waist and straighten out that right leg. Let's slowly hinge forward, coming into our pyramid pose. Feeling those legs nice and solid, feet gripping into the mat. Maybe sending your arms out like airplane arms. Beautiful. Let's bend into that right knee, bringing your hands back to your waist, sinking back in. We'll stretch the arms back up, reaching up, and then bring the palms together and back down to your heart. And let's take that back foot forward, shaking the legs out. Take your feet a little further apart. We're going to sink down, so slide your hands down to your knees, maybe sliding them all the way to your ankles, coming into our squat here. If you need to, you can keep your hands on the floor, or if it feels okay, you can always bring your hands to your heart. Taking a moment or two, this is an excellent shape to come into to get the digestive tract working for you. Beautiful. And then we'll ease our way down onto the floor. Let's send those legs out. And just sitting in staff pose. So shoulders can roll down your back, setting the shoulders up over your hips. Maybe tucking your chin in a little bit so your ears are over your shoulders. Close your eyes and noticing where you're holding. So if your back is feeling a little tender today, you can always bend your knees a little bit. And see if you can soften your legs. Beautiful. We're going to open our eyes, reach the arms up to the ceiling, and exhale, folding down towards your toes. And then inhale, reaching back up, getting nice and long. Exhale, fold. Moving with your breath. Nice and fluid. And the next time you fold over your hips, let's hang out here for a few breaths. Softening as you exhale. And then slowly coming back up. Let's take the right leg up with us and we'll cross it over. Sitting up nice and tall, wrapping the left arm around that right knee. Right arm can come around, coming into our spinal twist here. Nice long spine as you look over your right shoulder. Taking 3 breaths all the way down into your belly. And then slowly unwind. Let's straighten that right leg. We'll switch sides. So left leg comes in, crossing it over. Right arm tucking around, hugging around that left knee, and left hand behind. Looking over your left shoulder. And taking 3 belly breaths here. And then unwinding and straightening that leg out. Give them a little shake. We're going to bend our knees and we're going to bring our hands behind us. See if you can take your right ankle and rest it on that left knee. See how that feels. Taking a moment here. You might want to have your foot a little further away, or if you can bring your foot a little closer to your bum. Allowing your right hip to relax, sending some beautiful healing breaths down into that right hip. And then we'll uncross that leg and we'll do the other side. Left ankle comes onto the right knee, making any adjustments so that it feels right for you. And we'll stay here for 4 breaths, allowing each exhale to release a little bit more tension in your hip. Beautiful. Let's uncross that leg and laying all the way down onto your mat, bringing your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around. We'll just rock from side to side. Keeping your right knee in, let's send that left leg out. Bringing your nose up towards your knee. We'll lift the left toes up to the ceiling and then bend your knee, sending it back out. Moving with your breath. Keeping that flow happening. Beautiful. The next time that your left knee comes in, let's grab hold of it and we'll send the right toes to the ceiling, lowering that leg down, knee coming in and back up. Keeping that breath flowing. Beautiful. Let's do one more. Knee in and toes up. And then bringing that right knee in, we'll bring both knees in for a hug, resting your head back down. Breathing here. Let's stretch the arms out into a nice T shape. We'll let the knees float down to the right, making sure that your shoulders stay resting on the mat, making any adjustments. And then you can maybe look over to the left, letting your shoulders relax. Breathing all the way down the length of your spine. Letting go. Taking one more full breath in and back out. And then we'll let the knees come back up to the ceiling, wrapping your arms back around and just rocking from side to side. And then sending the arms back out, we'll let the knees float over to the left, head to the right. Letting go. letting your back unlock, feeling the support of the floor, face softening. And then bringing both knees and head back to center. We'll place a hand on each knee and taking your knees into a circle. And then the other direction. Maybe taking each knee in separate directions. And the other way. Beautiful. Let's stretch our legs out on the mat, taking up lots of space. Letting your arms rest by your sides, palms facing up. Closing your eyes. Giving yourself this opportunity to integrate all of those wonderful poses. Feeling that energy flowing all through you and around you. Closing your eyes and focusing on your breath. Feeling the cool air flowing in and the warmer air flowing back out. And if you find your mind wandering, coming back to the gentle flow of your breath. Feeling your body totally supported by the floor beneath you. And letting go. And today's meditative poem by Dana Faulds is called I Am Already. One flow of energy and breath connects the full depth and breadth of consciousness. There is nowhere to go but here, no time but now, no why or how or maybe, just the knowing, simple and complete, that I am already what I thought I had to seek. So bringing a full breath into your belly, beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, making your way back up to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll bring our hands to our heart center. We'll take a collective breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in and out, knowing that you are already. Namaste.